Good morning, district team leaders. Welcome to PartyCast Season 4, Episode 18. Here we are. We're at the end of April. We are at the beginning of May, however you want to look at it. I guess depending on when you listen to this. But we've made it through another big month, and we had a lot going on. And we'll hit on a couple of those things because we're wrapping up Balloon Readiness Month, but actually going into the months where we do a lot of balloon business. And Amanda's going to talk a little bit about kind of the outputs of balloon readiness and now the role district team leaders going in and validating and making sure that we're ready in all of our stores. So, you think about April, we had a lot around LOD and getting certified and ready for that. We had the store teams doing balloon assessments, and it was balloon training that we had, plus balloon planogram. Now we're all set and ready to go. It's really about making sure we've got all of that in place. So as we get into our peak weeks of graduation, we are set in every way possible to crush it in balloons. So that is exciting stuff. So we're going to cover a lot of different things today. We're also going to start changing up the flow a little bit. In fact, we're going to go into a real quick look, and we will continue to build this out in coming weeks. But we're going to talk a little bit about sales from last week. So sales were a little tough. So last week overall down 8.5%. The regions range from down 6.8 to a negative 10.3. So a pretty tight clustering around where our comps were. And each day really was kind of, it really wasn't that different. It was pretty even across the board all week long. So, we'll start sharing some more information. I'm going to turn over here to Amanda in just a minute to talk about balloon sales specifically. But let me paint a bit of a picture in terms of what we've got coming up between sales and what the budget looks like. So as we get into May, this was really the month where it started to turn in terms of what comp was going to look like and how that plays into the budget. So the May budget comp plan, meaning what the budget was, and if we hit our budget, what it would look like as a compared to last year, it's a positive 3.4%. So that puts us, if we take negative 8.5 last week, and the budget in the future here in the next week is going to be up 3.5, you can see there's a 12 percentage point gap. So we've got ground to make up for sure. And it's not going to come in any one fell swoop. We've got to keep chipping away at this in all of the different areas, and we'll talk about a couple of those things as we go through the call in terms of what can we do. Obviously, the merchandising team and the marketing team are looking at what they can do to drive traffic into the store. Are there other merchandising efforts that we can make, promo opportunities to help drive traffic into the store? So more to come on those things, but we've got to continue to control what we can control. So just for a quick look at balloon sales from last week, Amanda, do you want to touch on those?
Yeah. Last week was a little bit tough for balloons, but it's a good and bad story, right? We did almost $9 million in balloon sales last week, but we were down 2.2%. Really, we continue to see foil dominating. We were up 3.3% in that foil category, and that added about $150,000. But we continue to see latex and pumps and tanks and our seasonal really drive some loss, right? So I think that the shift with Easter is affecting some of the grad and communion, but we did not see that pick up prior. And so that was down about 10%. And latex really is that big struggle. It really made up the majority of the loss. And so we can't really wait until July, right? We have a reset in July for latex, but I think everything we can do today, making sure that we're doing our counts, making sure that they are full at the counter and that our signage for our promotion deal for the 12 piece is up and front and center for the customer to be able to see. And that's really everything with a sales piece for balloons.
Got it. Good stuff. Look, guys, as sales go, I mean, sales in general have been better in balloons, but when you look at it, the overall category, there were several days, and I think actually for the week, balloons as a total category was down. So when you look at foil, which has been very positive, very much a plus comp category for us. Latex and seasonal balloons have been an anchor on those. So I think those are definitely opportunity areas for us to look at in our stores, to make sure, look, some we may be trading over to Mylar and foil, but we've also got to make sure we've got kind of the basics in place to Amanda's point that we can't wait for a July planogram. Let's maximize what opportunities we have now. I know we've got a lot of other stuff going on in balloons. So Amanda, let me turn it over to you to kind of talk balloons in general.
Awesome. And I think just to kind of lean in on what you were just saying, I would work with our store teams too. We had a very large variance, right? There was stores that were negative 16.3% in balloons all the way up to +7. So I think as you're having conference calls, really talk to those stores and highlight the stores that are doing well. And let's duplicate that and replicate that out into the other stores.
Yeah, great point. Great point.
Yeah. So from a balloon operation standpoint, there's a handful of topics. The first of which is Mother's Day, right? So that is going to start to set this Wednesday. And so there's a lot of really great information in the Win the Season that went out last week, but you guys should start seeing those tables set in your stores, those tables and rails set in your stores starting Wednesday this week. And then there are two really big topics I wanted to talk about. The first is this week's graphic install, right? We are going to utilize the graphics manuals that we have. There is one specific for legacy and one specific for next gen. They're very, very different. The next gen one appears to be very long, but the reality is they just did every single different type of store format. And so there is really a normal size amount in that graphics manual, and then you'll see that your store specific will be located in the manual as well. I think it's really important to mention that there are some next gen stores that may not have the correct sign holders to have these graphics installed. There was a task that went out to the stores. The reality is these were not set correctly when they were built. And so we are going to need the stores to inform us if they do not have those holders. And so that task went out this week. I think the one big piece for graphics that I wanted to call out was the helium included signage. This is big signage, and there is two different versions of it. There is the half moon, and there's the blade signs, the circle blade signs that stand out. And so I think it's important that everyone follow the directions in the manual, but those blade signs, think of those more like you want them in a section where it's full of balloons, right? Where we don't want to use half moons on 70 hooks in a section. We want to use the blade signs in that section. And then the half moons, think of those as you have one or two items in a section, like your 5-piece package bouquets that you have in General Birthday or in Juvie Birthday. And that really allows you to call out the fact that the helium's included to show the value pricing without over signing a section to the point where it just feels overbearing. There's also pricing circles, and I can't stress enough to speak to your teams on your conference calls about following the printer directions in the task. Following those printer directions in the task will ensure that the circles print center in the circle label. And so if we don't follow those, they could be a little off center. And with 9 pages, I just don't want them to be printed twice. It just feels like something that would be a little bit wasteful. And the last thing on the graphic install is just that legacy move to shields. They are going to dispose of those plexi holders as soon as they do that install on Wednesday. And so Wednesday is going to be amazing. At the end of day Wednesday, we should have all of our graphics installed, all of our pricing updated, and really be wrapping up this amazing month of balloon readiness. And with that wrap up, we kind of go into the last thing that I really wanted to stress on, and that is the DTL readiness visits. This one we intentionally delayed a little bit to ensure that the graphic install was done, that we could make sure that you were walking through similarly to a set for success visit. This allows the DTLs to dive a little deeper and really validate everything that happened over the past month and focus on the balloon department kind of all in one place. this visit is going to take a good 2 to 3 hours. It's going to require pre-visit work to pull reporting, and it's really extensive. And I think as you're looking at your visits this week, um, I would ensure that you are scheduling these visits with a lead so that they can pull reporting, so that you can have those discussion points as you're on the visit. And so just a little overview of it, it really is broken into 8 parts. There's that pre-visit prep we just talked about, and then you have the entrance and the front counter and behind the front counter and your register and the sales floor and the back room. And then all the data that you've pulled will allow you to have these conversations so that you can not only talk through their results, but understand the knowledge that the store teams have in the balloon department, right? So there's a lot happening with that. I'm excited for you guys to have it. It's just kind of a new stepping stone into how we look at DTL visits. And so that is balloons for the week.
All right, good stuff. And a lot covered there, right? So let me hit on the last piece also. Look, this is a good way for everybody to really understand where we are in our balloon departments across all stores. So yes, it's in depth. Yes, it's time consuming. Yes, it's going to take planning up front. All things that we should be looking to do in our biggest business, the area that we have the most opportunity in right now, especially going into the graduation season. So this is a huge opportunity for us to really make sure we are ready for the business and that everything that we just spent April investing in is going to bear the fruit that we need and expect that it will going forward. So make sure those planograms are dialed in and set. Make sure that the team has gone through the training and that they're engaging customers with that information. And let's make sure we're bringing that experience forward to our customers in every interaction. So in addition to going through the list, and it's not about checking off the list, it's about really observing and validating that those pieces are in place. And when I say observing, that is going to mean investing some time, taking a step back and watching customers and team members engage. What are they saying? And then providing coaching to what we want that to look like going forward, or celebrating the great job that they're doing in the store. And then taking that knowledge, this is where, again, the biggest benefit that a district team leader has is they get to see all of their stores and share that information with each of the other stores as they go around. So think about the value and the knowledge that after seeing all of the stores, that everybody else will get that shared wisdom from each of you, from what they've learned by going through all of your visits and you sharing that information out, and even your store team leaders sharing out to their peers. So huge opportunity for us to be able to move forward very quickly on getting through these store visits and engaging with the teams. Now, nothing goes better with balloons than delivery. And I know we've got a promo running this week. So Leslie, you want to talk a little bit about what we have going on from a balloon delivery or from a delivery standpoint, which just happens to work great for balloons.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. So the free delivery promo starts tomorrow, Tuesday, April 30th, and runs through Friday, May 3rd. And as usual, it is free delivery on any purchase, so no minimum purchase required. And I thought what would be interesting to share, just as a point of reference, is the last time we ran the promotion was around Valentine's Day. And some of the perks we saw coming out of that promo were, number one, delivery sales were up 33% over same time last period when we ran the one around Val. Delivery sales were also up 37% to forecast. And to me, one of the most exciting stats was that when we went back and looked at the customers who placed a delivery order during the promotional time period, virtually 85% of them were new customers to Party City overall, not just even new to the delivery program. So we keep talking about how do we gain new customers and get more foot traffic in the door. And this is definitely proven time and time again to be one of those ways to do that. So Chris, I'm excited to see what happens this time around.
For sure. Yeah, it's look, there's so much more that we can do. And say, what did you say again on the how many new customers?
Around 85% of all of the delivery orders that were placed in that time period were new customers to Party City.
So that's attracting customers who weren't doing business with Party City before to Party City in a key category for us and a typically high average order value. Did I understand that one correctly?
Yes, you got it.
Okay, so that's like a really big opportunity for us to be able to build on and help grow this business. Like if someone said, hey, we want new customers and we want them to do it in balloons, and it'd be great if we got, I don't know, $85, $95, $100 average order value. That seems like a good thing to get more and more of with our customers. So guys, this is a huge opportunity for us. Think of free delivery as a way to grow our business and attract customers from the outside, but then we have to create a great experience on the inside. That means orders done right, done on time, and out to our delivery drivers in the best way possible, so that they get it to the customers exactly the way that they're looking for. Any final words of wisdom on delivery, Leslie?
I also just think it's a good way right now to engage with the customer for Mother's Day and saying like, hey, if you have anybody special you want to send some balloons to, I know we're so used to sending flowers, but sending balloons can be a really nice surprise. So the timing is really good. And I think that's a good hook with the customers.
For sure. And look, there is additional marketing that really starts to ramp up for Mother's Day in the next 2 weeks. So look, this business is going to be there for us to grab. So let's get after it and let's be ready for it, because we've got some upside and we can manufacture some sales and make up some ground if we can execute at a really high level over the next couple of weeks around certainly Mother's Day and then going into the grad season. And free delivery is a great way to kick this thing off. All
I think
right.
the signature, I think the signature pieces for Mother's Day are also going to be a really good key player in that as well. So Leslie, great point on offering it and talking through making that gift. I think the signature pieces are exactly the way to go.
Agree. And it does, to your point, it creates a gift out of something that might have just ordinarily been balloons. And it's something very different from flowers. It can be more meaningful. So let's take full advantage of that. And that's certainly the way that we're positioning it to our customers. All right. Well, we've got a lot going on from balloons, but we've also got a lot of other stuff that needs to happen in the store, especially as we think about the seasons we're going into. So Amanda, let me let you talk also about some of the other items coming up, especially around grad.
Yeah, I think one of the key things that I just wanted to talk through is pack away, right? I want to make sure that we are putting our focus where we need to. And as we talk about sales, so it's amazing that we started this podcast talking about sales because there is things we need in order to drive sales. And one of that is inventory on our shelves. And when I look at this season, we have a over $460,000 sitting in pack away boxes that is not available to our customer to purchase online. It may actually be on our shelves and not opened. It may not actually be opened at all. And so the focus needs to happen in order to be able to unpack those boxes so that we can drive those sales. When we think about how seasonal balloons was down 14% last week and our seasonal in general was down 17%, and we have thousands of boxes sitting in pack away, that needs to be a focus. We have to get to zero this week. And so that stress, I would say, is really well placed on ensuring that stores open their boxes and get that product onto the sales floor. We only have so much time, right? The Kentucky Derby is 5 days away. Cinco is 6 days away. So if you're listening to this on Monday, so we really do have an opportunity to help drive that incremental sale by having the product just available. And that would be the big piece I would stress for this week.
Yeah, those are great call outs. I mean, this is a big weekend coming up. I think you hit on all of them. Cinco, and we've got an item of the week with maracas that tie right into that. We got off to a pretty good start yesterday with those, so that's a good thing. Derby, Greek Easter is in there. We've got May the 4th next Saturday, so for big Star Wars fans, plus definitely grad celebrations start There are, especially at the college level, universities that are starting their graduation ceremonies. So there's a lot happening in a very tight window of time. So all great call outs. Look, simple thing is we've got to get the pack away unpacked and out on the floor, period. Right. So we know we want to keep bringing back, if this anything is in pods, definitely make sure those are back in your stores. These things go right to the shelf. So there's no reason why we don't have anything that's tied to summer, Cinco, grad out on the floor and done with those things. So then as we start looking at the weeks and months ahead, how we start to prepare ourselves for bringing back Halloween pack away, and we get as many pods and storage containers emptied out going into the summer season for Halloween as possible, and start saving those dollars and being out of that storage portion of the business. So all great call outs. Any other pieces there, Amanda, that you wanted to make sure we hit on?
Well, I think just some promotions as well, right? We want to make sure that we just so that everyone is aware, we extended our buy one, get one 50% off beach pails. And we have moved 2 of our licenses in juvie from 50% to 75%. And then we have our Easter candy disposal. So really do the last push today to drive that Easter candy. And it is going to be disposed of tomorrow.
All right. I know we do have several birthday related planograms setting this week, or revisions that are happening this week. One of our bigger opportunity areas when you look at comp, so dollar wise, huge categories, comp wise, pretty negative. So let's make sure we get those completed with the teams also, and getting that product out, and where we've got new product that it's being refreshed. It's certainly those are certainly ways for us to help drive the business and really hit the category sales that we know will drive this business forward. So I think we've hit on all of those pieces. We will wrap with that. We'll be back at it again next week with other good stuff. We are going to start talking about some other, I'll call them FAQs, especially around some of the sales and the expense sides of the business. We've actually had some good conversations with district team leaders and even with the regional leaders last week that we're going to incorporate into upcoming PartyCasts that I think will be good from a learning and education standpoint. That'll help you guys in conversations with your store teams about all parts of our business. So look forward to that, and that'll just be another part of the evolution of what we're doing with upcoming PartyCasts. So with that, guys, let's have a great week. A lot going on. Big sales weekend coming up, so let's take full advantage of that. Let's have a really strong week in sales. Let's start turning this thing around, and trust me, that'll make things a whole lot more fun if we start talking about sales going in the right direction. So have a super week. We'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you.